Good morning. So I'm putting this video together as quickly as possible for a patient that just asked me for some ideas on lower body training because he was like, I need to work on my lower body. And I didn't really like a lot of the videos I saw because they're gassy and long. So anyway, we're going to go through like all the planes of movement for the lower body and why you might want to train those planes of movement. There's multiple ways you could do this, right? But we're going to go through it with no real equipment. I'm going to sit in a chair and just demonstrate some movement. So here we go. Hopefully we can get it done in less than 5 minutes. So there's your easy ones, right? You're going to be in a machine, right? With quad extension, right? So you can quad extension, super simple. Everybody knows about that one. There's another one too where you might be stuck like this, right? And you have pads underneath your ankles and a pad on top here, like curl. Super simple. If you want to do these in a different way, say you're in another machine, it's like a hack squat machine, you got weight on your shoulders, and you can switch up to bias the quads. You're going to want to kind of go narrow, and you're going to want to kind of crouch down and basically load the quads, right? So this is a quad exercise dominantly, right? So now we're smashing the quads. Also, by keeping the core really tight, you have to brace when you do those. So that's a quad dominant exercise. Another type of exercise you could do that's going to hit the hamstrings, right? It's like a good morning. I like to do good mornings nice and wide. And basically what you'll do is you'll jet your hips out. You'll load until you feel like a really good stretch. Feel like a stretch in the hamstrings. And then the bar might be kind of like low bar. And then you go on a reverse, right? With the glutes and the hamstrings. This is a compound exercise, right? So there's that. There's also RDLs. So basically you'd go down with pretty stiff legs. Like I'd be deadlifting more like there if I was going to deadlift, but RDLs, you'd be kind of more like that. And then you really engage the hamstrings and the glutes before you start to pull. Tighten up your lats, brace your back. And then you pull with your glutes and hamstrings basically. So you get your whole back with that one. Another couple good ones. So that's quads, hamstrings. There's going to be another one. See if I could do this real quick. This one I find really good as a compound exercise for like the whole leg. It's a Bulgarian split squat, right? So you got one leg out in front. You might have a weight, you might not, but you lower yourself down, kind of loading up your quad, but you also load up your front hip adductor. You get about as deep as you're comfortable, and then you press out with the glute. And you come back down. And you press out with the glute. So that's a really good compound exercise. You hit a lot. With that, don't forget your calves. Calves are not complicated. When you're fully extended like this, that's more like a gastroc exercise. But if you want to do soleus and target soleus more specifically, right? Get in the seated calf raise, because what you're doing is you're taking gastroc crosses onto the femur, right? So what you're doing when you're sitting down like this is you're taking that totally out of the equation. Now we're just training soleus essentially. So that's and soleus and flexor digitorum, flexor hallucis. So that's a real quick once over for all those. Now we're going to look at the lateral stuff. So this is really simple. Again, I don't have any of my bands here. I'm trying to show you this as fast as I can, to get through all of it. So for glute med, right? You lay down, kind of get on your side. Grab your comfy. Try not to flex your low back too much. Rotate in just a little. You can even put your hand right here to make sure you're flexing the right part of the glute. And abduct, right? And you don't have to go up here, right? Just go till you're finished flexing your glute. Come back down. Open it up. Come back down. Like sets of 15 to 20. They're not a hard exercise. They're not really a heavy exercise. They're kind of like a physio exercise. So that one, the other one's clamshells. Clamshells, again, similar but simple. Lay on your side. Stack your hips. Picture this is kind of a straight line. Feet are bent behind you. Ankles are together. You might have a band around your knees. And then you open, right? And you flex the glute. And you bring it back down. And you open. And you bring it back down. So again, that's for the hip abductors. There's a couple more things you could do, but I'm just going to keep this quick, short, and simple. An adductor exercise. Remember, I was telling you about the importance of the adductor. Adductors do more than just adduction, kind of depending on the orientation of the pubis versus the insertion on the tibia. So if you're out wide like this, right, and you bring yourself down, we're loading the adductors. So adductors actually can really turn into a really powerful hip extensor from here. You know, they can really aid with that, and then it takes the quads out of the equation. If you got knee problems like me, that's the way I squat. I still squat narrow, but really light. Okay, Copenhagen's. How do I show you Copenhagen's? I don't have a lot of space. I have to change the camera orientation a little bit. So Copenhagen's. Let's pretend like we have enough space. Copenhagen's kind of look like this. You put your inner thigh up on something like this, your whole body, basically, you lift. This is a Copenhagen. And depending on the direction that your foot is turned and the direction that your body is angled, you'll bias different adductor muscles. But Copenhagen's are one of my favorites for strengthening the adductors. Also, you could just grab a cable, attach the cable. I usually attach it on the dorsal of my foot. I grab onto something, I let the thing pull me way out. So the cable machine's over there, and then you just pull in, and you get a good flex on the interior of the quad there, or sorry, the interior of the adductors there. Out, in, right? Simple. So there's some ideas for lower body training. Quick, easy. Oh, we're way over 6 minutes and a half. I hope it helps. And what you can do is you can rotate through. So if you don't want to do a whole bunch of this stuff all in one day, because it is a lot of exercises to do in a single day. It gets tedious. I mean, if you're ambitious, go ahead and do it. But what I like to do is try to break up some of the sagittal plane stuff and the squat stuff from the little rotator stuff, just because it just makes it easier to do, more digestible. That way I could get more exposures to small stimulus rather than like piling it all into one single day. But you do you on that. Rep ranges standard, right? Like we're looking to do anything from like a set of 12 to about a set of 5 if you want to go real heavy. But you know, for hypertrophy, typically somewhere between 8 and 12 is probably pretty good. If you want to keep it really light, go like 15. If you're injured, focus more like 20-ish reps. You know, don't hurt yourself. Pain should not be really over a 4, especially if you're rehabbing. Pain should be like a 4 or less, and you shouldn't be blown out the next day. So keep all that in mind, and happy lower body training.